Hello guys and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing a review for Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door based on IGN's review. So like and subscribe this video on YouTube, man. Let's go. A legendary treasure.
It's still impressive how distinct this RPG feels from any other game in the Mario universe. The surprisingly gritty world of Rogueport and its surrounding towns, a lovable cast of offbeat partners, and an Indiana Jones-style race between Mario and the scheming X-Nauts to unlock the secret behind the sleeping door give this...
I'm not gonna lie, those X-Nauts were very annoying. They were annoying, like just trying to like bring us down and trying to get these damn crystals is crazy.
Journey an unforgettable identity that's passed the test of time with flying colors.
I did heard just really quickly. I did heard with Yoshi, you once you get him in your team, that you can actually change his color. For some reason, I don't know. Like I don't know what part. Probably when you're giving him a name, you're able to change his color, but I don't know exactly when. But I left him as green. But I know that like if you guys see right here, he's actually gray with like yellow boots. So, and I know that's not a badge that you have to equip. That's literally as soon as he gets into your party, you can actually change his color. I just don't know how. But that was pretty cool though.
It helps that this Switch remake is absolutely gorgeous, with lovingly redone character models and dazzling environments that fully commit to the original's papery storybook aesthetic.
Yeah, I feel like this game was very colorful. Because obviously this is a remake and they have to smooth everything out. I just felt like the other game was a little bit more darker, more pixelated. Obviously it was years ago, a decade ago, but I feel like this game was very, very colorful.
It maintains 30 frames per second very consistently.
And at 30 frames per second, it looks good because usually games, really good games are at 60 FPS. So at 30 frames per minute, I mean, shoot.
As I only notice slight frame rate dips in crowded moments like this, but it doesn't happen very often.
I mean, all the characters are paper-based, so I get it.
The revamped soundtrack is amazing too, with outstanding updated versions of the original tunes and new area-specific battle theme arrangements.
Yeah, every time you had to battle any of these enemies, like it changes. Like the tempo of the music changes depending on what enemy you're battling and stuff like that. And I do like the RPG kind of style. It kind of reminds me of like South Park a little bit.
The sharp, laugh-out-loud script is consistently as funny and charming today as it was in 2004. The Thousand Year Door wastes no time setting...
Damn, 2004, Jesus.
...its irreverent tone. Just minutes after Mario sets foot in Rogueport, this brawl breaks out in the background. Almost everyone does or says something.
Every time like we were be in this scene where we're about to get like a new curse, even though it's going to help us in our adventure, I liked it. I liked the way that we're actually on a roll of paper, and we're paper on a roll of paper. Like, Jesus Christ. But that was actually pretty cool.
Something hilarious that also serves the excellent world building, like the evil cackling spirits who are convinced they're cursing Mario for all eternity,
right,
when they're actually blessing him with a useful paper ability. Side characters constantly intertwine with Mario's journey, and some folks even email him life updates with adorable photos.
Yeah, I've noticed that too when I was playing. I'm like, am I getting emails from people that I've met? Like all these characters that I met in this game. That was pretty cool. It's kind of like real time kind of like updates from these characters and letting you know like, hey, this is what I'm up to and I miss you and I want to see you and I hope you're doing okay on your quest. And that was pretty cool.
Attached. How thoughtful.
Oh my God, yes. Every time we had to play as Peach, I loved it. I absolutely loved it because like it's super cool how we can play with Peach and Mario, not at the same time, but like in different scenes, and just playing with her in this game was pretty cool. Like you didn't have to do much. You just had to help out Tech, which is the main computer of the X-Naut ship, and just to try to figure out where you at. And this whole time she was on the moon.
Small interludes also stand out, like ones where you play as Princess Peach or Bowser. Parts of Peach's segments haven't aged super gracefully. It plays up the fact that she has to take off her dress 3 separate times across less than 30 total minutes of
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool too. I'm like, oh, I could take a shower with her.
Peach gameplay, but it's still fun to see how she assists Mario from afar. Meanwhile,
Right.
the Bowser sections
Oh my God. Every time we played, I forgot that we played as Bowser. It was so funny. Cause like we will do like these mini like worlds and we will have to get to point A to point B. And that was actually pretty fun. And like the whole time we're like capturing like Mario and the gang, they're capturing all these crystal stars. Bowser is like 2-3 steps behind, like way behind. And he's like, oh yes, now I'm going to capture all the crystal stars. And meanwhile, Mario's getting all of them, and then he's just like super late.
to offer a glimpse of how he comically mismanages his dysfunctional army when he's not getting tossed around by Mario. And of course, there's Luigi, who updates Mario on his parallel misadventures in the Waffle Kingdom.
Oh my gosh. I remember like the first time we met Luigi in here, and he was literally talking our ear off. I was like, why did I click on Luigi to hear about his damn adventures? And not only did I kind of fell asleep, Mario fell asleep too. And I was just like, yeah, that's why we don't talk to Luigi in here.
Mario can't even stay awake to hear poor Luigi's whole story, but I love soaking up every word of it.
Nah, I thought it was kind of boring. It was too much.
Mario's quest to collect the crystal stars is the backdrop for each chapter, but the most unforgettable moments come from the smaller stories. One crystal star is the crown jewel of a wrestling championship belt, kicking off an incredible sequence where Mario climbs the ranks in the Glitz Pit's cutthroat pro wrestling world.
Yeah, this world was pretty. It was pretty fun. Like what IGN said right now. We had to go through like different, and like you had to defeat different enemies in order to go up in the ranks, in order to defeat the champion, and then get the crystal star. And then there's a little bit of a twist, right? There's a little bit of a twist. You got to defeat a boss. Obviously, there's always a boss fight at the end of the chapter, and then that's when you get the crystal star.
Every chapter has its own flavor, and it's always delightful to see where Mario and friends end up next.
It's dangerous to go alone.
Speaking of friends, Mario's party of 7 partners is one of the Thousand Year Door's greatest strengths. Each party member has a well-defined design and personality. Koops is an insecure Koopa who travels with Mario to avenge his father, while Goombella is a smart, sassy student studying archaeology. The companion backstories are generally very sweet and oftentimes strikingly mature and emotionally resonant, which highlights how the series hasn't managed to match their quality since. When exploring, each partner's unique skill helps out. You can kick Koops' shell to hit switches or grab items, while Yoshi significantly increases your speed and can flutter across gaps. The new partner ring lets you change characters on the fly, making some late-game puzzles that require lots of partner switching much snappier. Partners also fight alongside Mario during the Thousand Year Door's excellent turn-based battles. Paper Mario's trademark action commands are here, where you deal more and take less damage if you properly time the correct button presses.
Yeah.
But the Thousand Year Door's combat has so many interesting layers, and I never got tired of fighting at any point during the 30-hour.
Yeah, whenever you had to hit with Mario, it was all about timing. It's the same thing with the other characters. And I know that kind of backtrack a few minutes ago, I know that he did say that Mario has 7, but in fact, Mario has 8 partners. And so there is a side mission that you have to complete in order to have, so there's this little mouse that you actually meet at Hooktail Castle. And she's like this little thief that just kind of goes into like these crooks and crannies and like these castles, and like basically she steals jewelry, right? So there's a side mission you have to complete. You got to get something at Hooktail Castle, and then you have to bring it back to the mouse, and she'll actually join your party. So he actually technically has 8 instead of 7 partners.
Campaign. For example, collectible badges let you customize Mario's abilities however you want as long as you have enough badge points to equip them.
Yeah, so the badge system was actually very, very handy in order to defeat certain bosses, especially the last the last boss of this game, which is the Queen. And so as far as the badge system goes, like if you want your attack power to increase, obviously you have to, like, you see where it says power plus 15 stars and whatever. If you have about like maybe 4 or 5 of power plus badges, your attack power goes up. So instead of like, let's say when Mario does a jump attack and it hits an enemy, it's going to be like 3 plus attack, right? But if you have power plus about 4 of those badges, your attack power goes up to like 8 or 10 or 11. So that's the thing. And there's also like a defense, I think it's called defense P plus, something like that, which raises your defense. So you see, the more power plus you have, the more your attack power goes up, the more defense, the more your defense goes up. And then different badges do different stuff, like the flower saver, right? The flower savers are basically like your magic, like your MP, right? So whenever you're using a magic, like a magic move, if you have the flower saver on, that means that you don't have to waste flower power. You could still use your flower power just because you have, but you're not going to be actually wasting it. So, and then also whenever you level up, it's also important to level up at least your HP and as well as your flower power, like at the same time. Because usually like the flower power is like very, it's very handy when it comes to like using powerful moves with your magic and stuff. So I recommend to like do the HP and the MP as well.
There are over 8
as soon as possible
to find. Some give Mario powerful new attacks like the Quake Hammer.
Right.
Others impact stats, like the P up D down badge that boosts attack power but sacrifices defense. I turned Mario into a glass cannon where...
So you see how every time he kept like jumping, it went from 6, 7, 5, because I'm pretty sure they equipped the power plus badges.
Perfect action commands disposed of enemies in a flash, but any mistake led to him taking serious damage. The live audience at each battle also truly pushes them to the next level. When a fight begins, Mushroom Kingdom citizens frantically rush into the auditorium to watch it unfold, cheering when Mario does well and leaving early when things go poorly. Are they trying to beat traffic?
I mean, not only that you can upgrade Mario's moves, you can also upgrade your partner's moves. Because when you start out, all your partners have like at least like 2 to 3 moves. When you upgrade them, you have to go to like you have to go to somebody's house in the game. He's like a healer or some sort of like magician or something like that. If you have enough stars, you can actually upgrade all of your partner's moves, and instead of them having 3, they'll be able to have like at least 4 or 5 moves extra. And I think they all require flower power.
Balancing fighting with appealing to the crowd is so dynamic, and it's even more entertaining when you pull off stylish moves that add flourishes to attacks and make the crowd go wild. Pumping them up fills Mario's special attack meter, and it's one of the coolest mechanics I've ever seen in an RPG.
Yeah, the stars, like the super move stars, are pretty cool. Like each color star has different moves. I think this one I think this one is the ground pound, what they're doing right now with this big star. So the bigger the star, the more damage you're going to increase to your enemies and stuff, but you have to actually press the button. Like everything is about timing in this game. Everything is about timing. If you press it too slow, or like you don't press it at all, then it's gonna mess up the move. But I mean, you're still gonna hit your enemies.
The fights aren't especially difficult, with the exception of some late game bosses and optional challenges. But keeping track of all the mechanics at play is always fun. And if you're a Paper Mario rookie, the new Battle Master Toad lets you practice your action command timing with no penalty for messing up.
There and back again.
The one major flaw I wish this remake had done more to fix is the main quest's over-reliance on backtracking. Most areas have 2 major points of interest separated by several linear pathways, and the campaign frequently forces you to travel back and forth between them multiple times. On the pirate island of Keelhaul Key, Mario travels all the way here to help Captain Bobbery, who then needs a refreshing drink that's all the way here back at camp. Mario delivers the cola, Captain Bobbery accompanies him back to camp again, only to turn around one more time to head all the way back to the other side of the island where the next dungeon awaits. It can be exhausting, although the new partner ring means your trusty Yoshi steed is more accessible than ever, so at least it's quicker to run back and forth than it was on GameCube.
Honestly, like I kind of found that a little bit annoying too. Like what he said, well, we had to help out Bulbury, we had to get him a cola, we had to go run to the captain, then take the captain back to the other side in order to get into the cave, because we needed to get access to the other side of the island to get the crystal star or something like that. And that's when you trigger the boss fight. So I get it with like running back and forth to like huge areas of the world. And I wish there was some sort of like portal system where it's like, well, if you're gonna go here, at least if there was like tubes, right? Portal system meaning like tubes where I could just real quickly just zip to that side and just save time. So I get what he was saying. It was very tedious.
And Developer Intelligent Systems added this super helpful shortcut that means you only have to do this annoying, precise Yoshi platforming once.
Yeah, this part was a little bit annoying too, but I really didn't take the middle side. I always took the top part. I just kind of ignored that puffball up there, so that's just me.
So they removed the painful part, but not the actual trek, and the level design remains noticeably outdated in a remake that otherwise feels pretty modern. The best addition is the revamped Warp Pipe Room. This fast travel hub is a total game changer. For instance, in the original, the only way to get to the Glitz Pit's floating island was to ride the blimp all the way there on the far side of Rogueport. Now, this pipe zips you straight there. Just don't think too hard about how that works.
Oh my God, yes. When I found out that this pipe system was available, I'm like, yes, I don't have to ride the train. I don't have to I don't have to get on the blimp to get to Glitzville. I don't have to, like, the way that we got to these worlds originally was out of the question. And now the tube system in the bottom of Rogueport opened up, and it's like, oh, everything's so much easier because there are different tubes to different worlds, and we could just zip right into it. So I was glad for that.
Longtime fans will,
especially when you get towards the end of the game where you had to find, I think, the white Captain Bomb. Oh my God, we had to go to all the worlds and ask around to see where this captain was at, and everybody's like, yeah, he was just here, but he just left. I think he went to here. And then you get to the other world and they'll say the same thing, and it's like we're just going world to world to world just to find one bomb. And so that was just like really annoying. So I'm glad that they had the tube system in order to travel around to different worlds.
remember Chapter 7's particularly ridiculous quest that requires revisiting every major town, but thanks to the new and improved Warp Pipe Room, I was done with this mission in less than 10 minutes.
Right, me too.
It wasn't a particularly stellar 10 minutes, but it was a lot less tedious than what I'd been braced for. That helps with the entirely optional side quests too, which are pretty standard fetch quests. Sometimes they're good for a laugh, like this mouse's strange demand.
Oh yeah, I remember we had to keep hitting him until he remembered.
The rewards are mostly items or coins that can easily be found elsewhere. I also dislike that Mario can still only accept.
Yeah, so these right here, these are basically the side missions. These were basically the side missions and stuff. And like, if you do these side missions, you get like a lot of coins or you get some items and stuff like that. So where I was saying about how that mouse joins your party, this is, I don't know which mission was it. I think it was, let me see. Oh, no, not that one. For some reason they don't show it, but it's a certain quest where you have to go to Hooktail Castle, retrieve something, and then bring it back to her so she can join your party. So that's basically what it is. But this is the side missions right here.
Accept one side quest at a time from Rogueport's Trouble Center, and you must solve or abandon it before taking on a new task. As it stands, they don't seem worth doing, with the exception of one extremely worthwhile reward I won't spoil here. And thankfully, you don't see any tedium in the fantastic dungeons that are part of the main story. These are always packed with clever puzzles, useful collectibles, and epic boss fights that shake up the usual battle conventions in interesting cinematic ways.
Oh yeah, these boss fights were crazy, like this one in particular. So if you guys are going to play the game, just keep in mind that this is not the only dragon you have to face. Technically, you have to face, I mean, if you're just doing the story and not doing like the other side missions, you're only battling 2 dragons. If you're doing I think it's called the 100 trials pit, something like that, where you have to go through like 100 trials and defeat like different enemies and different abilities and whatever. At the end of that trial, you have to defeat the bone dragon, which is, I think it's the brother to this dragon. I'm not really too sure. I can't really remember, but he was a little bit hard. It took me like 2 tries to defeat him, but yeah. The good thing about Goombella, like, because I know that he was talking about the abilities of the partners. Goombella, her best ability is that she can scan the enemy's HP. Like, she can tell you, like, okay, this enemy has this amount of HP. This is how you defeat him. Just keep doing this strategy, and you'll be able to defeat him. So I think that's the only best ability for Goombella. I'm sorry. Verdict. What is the verdict?
Paper Mario has finally returned to its RPG roots with an amazingly loyal and visually dazzling remake of The Thousand-Year Door. Everything fans have been begging Nintendo to bring back is here, including a delightfully varied turn-based battle system with satisfying real-time elements and unique, lovable party members who are essential to both the story and gameplay. Rogueport and its surrounding areas are bursting with personality thanks to writing that's just as sharp and funny today as it was in 2004. It also introduces a host of modern improvements that streamline but don't eliminate the original's backtracking issues, easily making this the best way to experience Mario's quest to gather the crystal stars. There's a reason The Thousand-Year Door has been considered one of the greatest Nintendo games for the last 20 years, and this brilliant remake ensures it will maintain that reputation for at least.
It got a 9, amazing. A number 9. This game was incredible. I really love this game. Right next to Origami King? Origami King Paper Mario? Yeah.
At least 1,000 more. For more, check out our reviews of the Super Mario RPG.
Yeah, so overall, I mean, I agree with IGN. Yes, I think that this was one of the best Nintendo games ever as far as the Mario franchise. Like I said, right next to Origami King. I loved Paper Mario Origami King. That was a pretty good game. The boss fights there were crazy. There was as crazy as this one for Thousand-Year Door. They were really, they were really intense and challenging and stuff. As far as graphics and visuals, great. 30 frames per minute. I mean, 30 frames per second. I'm sorry, is amazing. It's kind of like playing at like 60 frames per second. But yeah, I think I give it between a 9 and a 10, to be honest. For me, between a 9 and a 10, the game was pretty good. I actually just beat it like a month ago, I think. And it took me a while just because I didn't understand the badge system that well. The last final boss fight, which is the Queen, it took me a few tries. I'm not gonna lie, because I had to raise up my attack, raise up my defense. And then she had like 3 different forms that I had to kind of figure out how to kind of defeat her. And there's one form, which is the second form, where any moves you make, you cannot defeat her, like at all. You cannot defeat her. You actually have to like just keep healing up. And then like all you can do is hit her like at least 3 times. And then she goes into her final phase. And that's when you can actually do damage to her. But the story was very good. Story was very good. I like the fact that we can actually play with 3 different characters, which is Mario, Peach, and Bowser. With Mario and Bowser, it was like the short interludes, but it was still pretty fun. I like the relationships that Mario had built, around these characters and his partners throughout the whole journey. The enemies, enemies are all annoying, but they were pretty good. I think I had to really farm in this game also in order to upgrade all my stuff. You have to really farm as well. I think upgrading your partners is a really good strategy also. That way they can have more moves and more powerful moves in order to, defeat your enemies. But overall, I love the game. I can't wait for the next Nintendo game that Nintendo drops, because I definitely will be playing that. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Definitely go check out my other reviews for other Nintendo games on my channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys on the next one. Let's go.